What's going on today, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Today, on the table in front of me is an artisan knife, another one that Russell was nice enough to drop off for Women Carry Knives and I to take a look at. This is the Artisan Tomahawk, and I love this knife. I just do. Now, I've actually had a version of this before, and I still do in my kit somewhere in G10. Back from a day, this has been around a while now. I picked that up back when knives in G10 and D2 were really big on my collection list. Since then, I have moved away and into more premium materials, as we've talked about a number of times. And for some reason, I never really went back and re-evaluated whether or not I needed one of these. And I got to tell you, now that I've had this thing at the house for a while, I absolutely need this knife. I really, really do. The titanium is milled, it's rounded, it is comfortable in hand. It is a huge grip. It's got this forward finger choil that allows you to get up really, really close on the blade. The way that the blade is designed, it is nice and thick right through here, and it comes to a relatively fine point. Look, this is not a razor blade, it is a thick edge, but it's not that kind of a knife. It's more built for chopping than it is for direct slicing, but it does slice beautifully. It has this marvelous clip on it, which is thoughtfully designed. Leaves you just a little bit of knife sticking out, as you can see. There's about the line right there. It is narrow through the handle. It is considerably less than ½ an inch. You get, well, let's see, 1, 2, 3.5 inches of cutting surface. You get 1, 2, 3, 4 inches of M390. I keep doing that. This is an M390 blade. That's just my tired tongue trying to get ahead of me. You get this beautiful purple pivot collar. You do get a spacer here with a pocket clip, which is changeable from right side tip up to left side tip up. It is a frame lock with a hardened steel insert. The titanium itself is actually milled. That's not going to show up on camera, but there's texture, which means you get a fantastic grip on this thing. I love this knife. That I don't have one is making me exceptionally sad, and so I'm going to fix that as soon as I can. This is a great knife, and it's a great knife for a couple of reasons. It isn't scary. I mean, not really. It's a big knife, don't get me wrong, but if you break this thing out at the office, other than the size of it, the overall shape isn't intimidating. It doesn't look like a combat knife. It doesn't look like a tactical knife. It doesn't look like something that you're going to go out and get into gas station stabbing matches with. It looks like a working tool. That is one of the reasons that I love cleaver style blades so much. Oh, there's a bit of a smudge there. Because it is a non-threatening but completely functional blade shape. All of this beautiful belly along here allows you to do marvelous draw cuts. You can do great push cuts with it. Now, having a large finger choil like that can be a bit of a problem because if you slip down into the choil, but if you think about it while you're doing it and push this way, this thing slices up cardboard like nobody's business. The milling on the handles means that it is relatively light. Look, this is just a great knife. Not to put too fine a point on it or anything, but it really is very good. Whereas, and we talked about this knife earlier, the Cygnus is kind of an expression in art form that also happens to be functional. The Tomahawk here is a functional knife that also just sort of falls into art, because it is so perfectly designed. The swell down here allows you to get your hand on that. I love holding, this is such a good grip, I'm telling you. Now the nice thing is they do, as I said, they make a D2 and G10 version of this that costs $35, $40, something like that. This, of course, is a couple of hundred plus for the premium materials. But as I mentioned in a previous video, one of the things that Artisan does better than just about anybody, I mean persistently across their knife line, is if they produce a good version, a good knife that in premium materials, they will also produce the equally good knife in G10 and D2. And that is really cool. I hope they keep doing that. We will see. You never know. But for now, if you like this knife shape, this style of blade, you can get it in M390, you can get it in D2, you can get it in carbon fiber, you can get it in titanium, you can get it in G10. You see where I'm going, right? If you like this, depending on your budget, there's one for you. And I think that is super cool. I'm going to put it up next to our old friend, the Rat Model 1, just so we get a size comparison out of the way. Let's go ahead and line that up there, and we'll line that up there. And as you can see, There is not only just a little more cutting surface, but a little more knife in general. This is a larger knife than the Rat Model 1. However, when held up side by side, they are just about the same thickness through the spine, excuse me, not through the spine, but through the handle of the knife. And so this, while this is a large knife, God, I really cannot talk today. While it is a large knife, it doesn't take up a ton of pocket space. You do have to be aware, because of the cleaver style, that this is what is at the top of your pocket. So while it's in your pocket, this is up against the, towards the seam on your pant leg. But this part is nice and smooth. It does have a bit of a, with all due respect to Nick Shabazz, a pocket pecker going on here. But it's rounded off in such a way that it's not going to be jabbing and poking into the materials in your pants. Look, this is just a beautiful knife done exceptionally well. If you guys have not had a chance to go over and check out Artisan Cutlery, do it. It's just a great place to go to shop for knives. Blade HQ's got a bunch of really good ones. Smoky Mountain Knife Works carries them. Everybody has really good artisan knives available to you. There's even an artisan website where you can see stuff that hasn't made its way out to the larger vendors yet, if you're interested in that sort of thing. I don't know. I like cleavers. I like this knife. I'm going to have to get one, in fact. That makes 2 of these recent artisan cutlery knives, and I'm going to have to add to the collection. I'm okay with that. That's how we learn. We get stuff in hand, we play with it, we decide whether it's for us or not. And sometimes for those of you that don't have access to some of these knives, that's what you come here for. So if you've got big hands, you like a cleaver style knife, the Artisan Tomahawk might very well be for you. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask down in the comments below. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I'd love to have you here on a regular basis, and we'll see you next time.